In January 2016, there was a gentleman called Mr. Simon Monroe who occupied and had been farming in that area. I entered into an agreement with him. The agreement was dated the 28th of January 2016, and I purchased 50 acres of land from him on the left bank of the Essequibo River for the sum of $2 million. At the time of the acquisition, he had not yet acquired his lease. He had been in occupation and he had been waiting on Guyana Lands and Surveys. I then immediately, on the following day, which is the 29th of January 2016, went to Guyana Lands and Surveys and paid them the fee for inspection of the land. And that document is posted on my page, and that document is here. They accepted the fee. It was $20,000 per 25 acres and $1,500 filing an application fee. After that was done, they came, they conducted the inspection, perhaps maybe a year and a half, I can't remember exactly when. I then, on the 24th of October 2019, just for a point of reference, in 2016 when the inspection was done, there was no confidence vote. There was no suggestion that this was a transaction that was anything other than an above-board transaction. And the only reason that the application was made to the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission was because it was a lease. And they have to come and conduct the inspection, and they have to make sure that after it is surveyed, it is properly described. In 2019, on the 24th of October, the Guyana Lands and Surveys issued me a notification of approval of application for state land. That approval had 4 conditions. One of them was that I had to present the receipt. 2, that I had to recruit the services of a surveyor. 3, that the approval did not give me permission to commence occupation of the land. And 4, if I didn't reply in 2 months, then I would lose the land. I complied with those provisions, and then on the 19th of March 2020, a provisional lease was issued in my favor for the 50 acres. Since then, I have been writing, attending, asking the Guyana Lands and Surveys to issue to me the actual final lease for the property. Every letter that we have sent to them, and there have been 4, and every visit that I have attended, they have refused to respond to either. We've got no response from the letter, and they have indicated that there's nothing that they can do. Unofficially, we've heard that they got a specific instruction not to issue lands to Nigel Hughes. I have been waiting since then. All the documents are there, and I welcome an investigation. I didn't go to Guyana Lands and Surveys or the Central Housing and Planning and say to them, oh, please, can you give me some land for this specific project? This is a project for agricultural development. I visited it. It has been surveyed at their request, and it remains provisional. As you know, since 2016, when I acquired this land, it was for the purpose of entering into a business venture with business partners. And they, of course, have long gone because they could not afford to wait, and we're almost 10 years, 8 years, for approval from the government for us to get a final lease in my favor. Now, the process is that you apply to the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission. You have to pay an inspection fee. The purpose of that fee is for them to come out, inspect the land, identify where it is. They have to be satisfied that there's nobody else that owns that land. They have to be satisfied that the land is at a location which fits into their land use. And they have to be satisfied that it is okay for the state to consider leasing this property to someone. After that inspection is done, they then contact the applicant, and they say to the applicant, you have to conduct a survey. That survey, the purpose of that survey is so that you identify the land on a plan, which is then filed and registered with the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission. After that is done, they examine whether you have the capacity to proceed, and they issue a provisional lease. A provisional lease, you can't go to any financial institution and raise money on it. A provisional lease cannot be transferred. The provisional lease just says that you are granted, essentially, permission to provisionally lease this property. After that, the government is supposed to issue, the Guyana Lands and Surveys is required to issue you a final lease, which is the document that you can then take to the bank. It's a valid document. You can't transfer it, but that provides the security of tenure in which your co-venturers are satisfied that whatever venture you're going to conduct on this piece of property is in your name and therefore part of the joint venture. Up to now, the government, because of its policy of not allowing persons who do not support them and who are not in the friends, favorite, and flatterers group of persons, they have intentionally frustrated any attempt by me to conduct commercial activity on this land. I now come to the Ogle property.